Last weekend, I went down to Sedona to ride down there, but it ended with a wet and muddy bike and a disappointed and frustrated rider. There's a link to that video in the description. Today's ride is a more local ride that goes to Fisher Point and from there to Walnut Canyon. From J.W. Powell Boulevard, there are a series of trails that take you east and slightly south. The trail Lake Mary connects to Skunk Canyon, a double-track trail that turns to single track when it drops into a narrow canyon called, well, Skunk Canyon. This was the only part of the trail I was worried about, because the canyon is mostly shaded by trees and it is between two high walls, which means that the trail doesn't get much sun during the winter days. The trail turned out to be mostly dry, except for a few mud puddles, plus a couple patches of snow. After you leave Skunk Canyon, you turn right and follow the Fisher Point Trail to an intersection with the Arizona Trail to Walnut Canyon. This is the first view you get of Fisher Point itself. The first 50 yards of the climb to Fisher Point is a pretty technical section, which caught me off guard. I didn't remember it being this rocky. I hiked my bike up past these sections, but after that I was able to ride most of the climb. I'm eager to come back here sometime and try to clean some of these sections. After the first technical sections, I was able to ride most of the trail. One essential part of the sport of mountain biking that I am still figuring out is how to eat and hydrate properly before and after long rides. I should have either left earlier to ride or had a small snack as I entered Skunk Canyon so I would have had energy for the long climb. This was one of the reasons why I couldn't perform as well on the climbs as I would have liked. After the switchback, the trail begins to climb again. The Arizona Trail doesn't go out to the point, but there is a short trail that does. This is why we do those climbs, because this is the reward. Now we're heading out to a place called Walnut Canyon. I'm not totally sure how far away it is, but pretty much until we get there, it's gonna be all just a long, gradual descent, which is super fun. Because of the monotonous nature of the trail after Fisher Point, I decided to only include the fun bits of the trail. The trail is, as I said, a long descent, but the descent is punctuated by tight corners and short, punchy climbs. The Arizona Trail then stays on the rim and winds its way slowly down to another trail intersection. When the builders were designing this trail, they had to keep in mind that although hikers would use it, mountain bikers would as well. Because mountain bikers would also be using this trail, the builders left behind a lot of what mountain bikers prefer to call rock gardens. Rock gardens are pretty much just rocks sticking up out of the dirt with a technical name slapped on it. Rock gardens can come in many different difficulties and lengths, but they are mainly designed around what the trail is rated and also what the builders want to do to keep things interesting. Because this trail is rated as blue, Most of the rock gardens and features on this trail are relatively easy to ride over. This is the start of a really fun downhill run. It goes downhill for about half a mile or so and then heads back up.
Not the right line, but it works.
When I mention a line or a feature, I'm referring to the path that I took over an obstacle, like a rock or a rock garden. I prefer to pick my lines based on the situation that I'm in. If I'm in a race or a pre-ride situation, then I will take the most efficient line. But if I'm on a fun ride like today, then I'm going to pick the most fun line to ride, which is almost certainly not the most efficient one. The climb right after the downhill section is super fun, mainly because it's sketchy in some parts and it has features that are not on other parts of the trail before this. The same fun single track picks up at the end of the rocky climb, where I had to hike my bike up. The Arizona Trail then intersects with a connector that leads to Old Walnut Canyon Road. I took this dirt road back to the east side of Flagstaff. The gimbal ran out of battery just as I got to the end of the dirt road and soft pavement once again. The ride was about 24 miles total, with about 10 of that riding on the road back to my house. One important item that I have not mentioned that will affect the videos for the foreseeable future. Because of the coronavirus, Sedona has closed down a lot of their trailheads, which means I cannot go down there to film videos. Luckily, everything is starting to thaw out up here, so I'm going to start filming more and more videos up here in Flagstaff. I think that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.